Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Nick Trigili here, watching another episode of the Bodybuilding Coach. This is where we discuss training, supplements, and nutrition. In this week's episode, we're going to discuss injuries. Do we train through injuries, or do we let them rest? The first thing I want to talk about is some common injuries that we all probably encounter on a daily basis in the gym. Some common sprains, groin injuries, turf toe, shin splints, tendonitis, bursitis, probably rotator pain, pinched nerves in your traps, pinched nerve in your lower back. What else are common ones? Shoulder blades are misaligned. All these type of injuries are basically like things that we're all going to encounter on an everyday basis. And they're basically things we're going to have to be able to treat and just kind of battle through. If we took off from the gym from every little nick and cranny pain, we probably would never be in the gym. What goes along with training is basically injuries. You're going to be in the gym doing rep after rep, hundreds of thousands of reps a year later from training in the gym. Things are going to happen. Little injuries are going to happen. It just depends on how you treat it is really how you're going to overcome that. A lot of the ways that I resolve injuries is actually battling through it and doing active recovery. And keeping the blood and circulation in the injury and not letting the injury get cold and literally just waste away. I think the worst thing to do for an injury is literally not be attentive to it. So let's say that you have a shin pain or an elbow pain and just ignoring it is the last thing you want to do. Most of us probably do that because they probably won't be bothered with it or probably don't want to look into it or probably just don't feel like dealing with it. Oh, it's just a nagging pain. It'll go away type of attitude. But the best way of dealing with it is dealing with it first and forward. So obviously taking anti-inflammatories on a daily basis to keep inflammation down in your body is number one. I know some people don't approve the popping pills, but at this time you're going to need to keep the inflammation down in your body, especially from that area. Icing and heating. So depending on what the injury is, icing regimens at nighttime before and after training. If it depends on the injury, you might have to heat it before and after training. There's some products called like Icy Hot, BioFreeze, Tiger Balm that we use for application before training to help warm up the muscle or whatever the injury is, maybe having after the gym to keep the muscle warm. There's also stretching techniques for certain injuries that we should probably apply. And then obviously seeking medical attention is obviously first and foremost. If the injury is not something severe where it's debilitating, from you walking or using your arms or limbs, then I usually try to assume taking responsibility of the injury myself. And if it's something that's not cleared up in like 1 to 2 weeks, then I'll go seek a professional help. But if it's something like a serious pain, I always tell people right away, go get it checked out, get x-ray, get MRI, especially if you have insurance, it doesn't cost anything. Just be better safe than sorry. Don't let these injuries just go. Because that's when something severe happens to most people. It's when they let injuries just go and for a prolonged period of time, these things start adding up. So from when a little pain starts, it turns into a minor strain and turns into a minor fracture, and then it turns into something very severe where you need surgery. So in order to avoid these things, I tell everybody, always get it checked out. If it's something that you feel like you needs to be checked out, if it's that severe, don't avoid going to the doctor. They're not our enemies, they're our friends, and they're there to help us. I know they're not the most knowledgeable people, but at least use them for an x-ray or an MRI to at least acknowledge what's going on underneath the skin, because obviously we can't see that. In terms of help, my first order of business is always going to like maybe a chiropractor to try to resolve some type of nagging pains, because usually something neurologically with your central nervous system is off with your spine, and that's why you have these little pains and aches. If that doesn't resolve it, then obviously there's always a massage therapist, which can obviously rejuvenate the muscle because it's probably been lacking nutrients for a period of time. If there's maybe a strain, if it's maybe a scar tissue built up in the muscle, there's several different things where you would apply to a massage therapist that you wouldn't apply to a chiropractor. But in simple terms, first and foremost, I always go to a chiropractor, because obviously if the nerves aren't firing to begin with, then the muscle's not firing. So the muscle follows the nerve doesn't follow the muscle. Obviously stay on top of your routine supplements like glucosamine and all these type of vitamins to make sure that your body's healing over time too from these workouts. collagen products, stuff like that for your bones and muscles. Physical therapy is also a very, very, very good thing that I see a lot of bodybuilders doing now, keeping themselves limber. So by having better range of motion, better flexibility, it's always less prone to getting injured. If you're a guy that's very tight and bound up all the time and can't really have no flexibility and can't put a shirt on or tie their shoes, you're probably going to be the first one to get injured because of lack of range of motion and lack of room for development for your muscles. Because obviously, less room, less space for the blood to go, and less range of motion for your body to move when you're trying to train in the gym. If it takes you, 15, 20, 30 minutes to warm up in the gym, you're probably the guy that probably needs it to go get physical therapy done. Physical therapy is not only for injured people. It's for people who need help, like athletes, who need to stay limber and obviously have circulation as number one and being flexible number two. Common sense things are go into the gym and don't recreate the problem. So if you know there's an injury in your elbow and doing push downs hurt it, don't go to the gym and do push downs. It's just going to make it worse. So avoid the exercises for the short period of time that it is to get the injury to recover, because obviously doing repetitive damage to that muscle or joint or whatever is injured is just going to make things worse. So avoid the exercise in the gym to prevent more damage to that area. That's just common sense, but I like to say it just because some people actually forget to do those things. Obviously, if you're talking about like a torn muscle or something really badly strained, you're not going to want to train on that. That's something that you're going to need to seek medical attention and take some time off in the gym and treat it the right way. Because if not, then obviously you know what's going to happen to that. It's going to lead to a full-blown tear, tendon and muscle fascia, and then you're going to need surgery. So as far as active recovery goes for injuries goes, what I like to do is always do like a mini workout, maybe after I do the real workout, just to keep circulation in there. This is a common thing that I do even for recovery when I'm healthy. But for when I'm injured, let's say my elbows are very sore, I have tendonitis, which I do. I usually ice them before the gym to keep inflammation down, take anti-inflammatory. I train and ice them after the gym. And then what I do is the next day, if they're still tender, I'll warm them up with like Tiger Balm and stuff like that, and just do some free weight, like some body exercises to keep circulation in that area. Because I notice that the less time that I have blood flow in those areas, like my elbows and knees, the worse I am. So what I try to do is I try to keep blood flow in the areas and try to active recovery them. I know it sounds weird because it's actually like you're doing more damage to them. But I like keeping circulation in my joints and elbows and knees more commonly throughout the week than just letting them go cold and not train them at all. And this is not like a heavy weight exercise. It's something I do with my body weight, like maybe push-ups or push-ups against the Smith machine, some body weight dips, maybe assisted, some bench dips. This is now if I have pain in my elbows. This isn't for something that I would like to do if I have a tear or substantial pain. This is like just very tedious elbow pain I'm talking about that like maybe it's annoying just during the exercise. It's not something severe, like I said. But I notice the more circulation I have in the areas that hurt, the better off I am in keeping them more and limber throughout the week. So let me know if this helps you guys throughout the week. If you're nagging pains and your injuries, this is something I like to apply. It's a very complicated process. It's a lot more to explain in the 10-minute video. But if you guys have any questions about it, you know where to find me at Nick World Class. Again, make sure you guys like and subscribe to this video. And this is Nick Trigili signing out.